I'm going to give you a good tour today, show you as much as you need to know, plus a whole lot more, actually. When it's your turn, remember to wear loose clothes, no metal, and be prepared to receive several heavy doses of electric current. They're watching us right now. Over there is the Department of English. I see most of you speak English already, so we can skip that one.
This is the worst tour ever.
I mean, doesn't anything cool ever happen here?
What's up, guys? It's your boy, Benny. Very few protesters become iconic in politics, but Jacob Chansley is certainly one. You may not know him by his Christian name, Jacob Chansley, but this Arizona-based veteran, known as the QAnon Shaman, this is what he looks like without the Chewbacca headdress or the face paint, certainly became the iconoclast image of January 6th. Jacob Chansley was the man who hooted and who hollered and who stood inside of the well of the United States Capitol with his Chewbacca hat on. Lovingly called Chewbacca, Jacob Chansley was also sentenced to 41 months in prison. So you would find this very curious that the richest, most powerful man in the world, Elon Musk, would have at the top of his Twitter feed, Jacob Chansley, as Chewbacca Man, tour de farce from the New York Post. What's happening here? We are seeing a bit of a Chewbacca Man redemption arc right now, based on Tucker Carlson's massive expose as to what actually happened during January 6th. January 6th footage shows Capitol cops escorting QAnon Shaman to the Senate floor. Huh? Newly released surveillance footage from January 6th show the two Capitol police officers escorting Jacob Chansley, the behorned so-called QAnon Shaman, to come to be the symbol of the riot, through the halls of the Capitol to the very doors of the U.S. Senate. Here you go. Boom. Right there. I mean, you can't lie with the actual footage. This footage was shocking because this police officer tried to open up the doors and let him in. What's going on? How do you have a police escorted deadly violent insurrection? Again, we'll say it for the millionth time. If you hit a cop or if you behave violently, you belong in prison. But Jacob Chansley committed no violence, according to Charlie Kirk and the tapes, had no priors, didn't force his way past cops. The cops escorted him. Tucker Carlson said there's nearly a dozen cops that walked him through the building. He wore an outfit, so the press called him a QAnon Shaman. Feds took advantage of the mentally troubled man. They withheld key evidence and made him a symbolic target. That is precisely correct. Here's Tucker Carlson's reporting that is leading to this wild redemption arc.
Capitol building, things began to get chaotic. Capitol police officers fired tear gas into the crowd. A few at the front of the herd broke windows. Someone opened the doors, and many hundreds of others just walked in.
They're going to make that the story.
Of course, they did make it the story. And at the center of it, the single most famous person arrested that day was a Navy veteran from Arizona called Jacob Chansley, often referred to as the QAnon Shaman.
The so-called QAnon Shaman. QAnon Shaman.
Someone named Q Shaman.
Jacob Chansley became the face of January 6th, a dangerous conspiracy theorist dressed in outlandish costume who led the violent insurrection to overthrow American democracy. For these crimes, Chansley was sentenced to nearly 4 years in prison, far more time than many violent criminals now receive. What did Jacob Chansley do to receive this punishment? To this day, there is dispute over how Chansley got into the Capitol building. But according to our review of the internal surveillance video, it is very clear what happened once he got inside. Virtually every moment of his time inside the Capitol was caught on tape. The tapes show that Capitol Police never stopped Jacob Chansley. They helped him. They acted as his tour guides. Here's video of Chansley in the Senate chamber. Capitol Police officers take him to multiple entrances and even try to open locked doors for him. We counted at least 9 officers who were within touching distance of unarmed Jacob Chansley. Not one of them even tried to slow him down. Chansley understood that Capitol Police were his allies. Video shows him giving thanks for them in a prayer on the floor of the Senate. Watch.
Thank you, Heavenly Father, for giving the inspiration needed to these police officers to allow us in this building.
Contrast the reality of what Jacob Chansley did in the Capitol building on January 6th, the indisputable facts recorded on video, some of which has never before been seen, with the depiction of Jacob Chansley that you've seen in the media for more than 2 years. He's a terrorist, they said. He should be killed.
Shoot him. Shoot him. Like, you burst into the United States, if he was dressed like bin Laden, would you have shot him?
Shoot him. Shoot him. It makes you wonder, who are the violent extremists here? Not Jacob Chansley, and the video proves that. But you would never have known from the media coverage.
The people sitting in the chairs need to be sitting in a jail cell.
Chansley is in a jail cell. He's been there for months. If he was in fact committing such a grave crime, why didn't the officers who were standing right next to him place him under arrest? Until now, no one could even prove that even happened. But it did.
Massive. Our in-house legal expert Mike Davis tweeting, "It is unacceptable for the Biden Justice Department to not provide Jacob Chansley with the critical exculpatory evidence. Was this presented at his trial? No, it was not. Cops escorted me around. It is even more unacceptable for Judge Royce Lamberth not to order this footage be played at the trial. Sentencing him to 41 months in prison is truly shameful," says Mike Davis. Now, we're going to play you a clip from the corporate press, somebody who got to interview Jacob Chansley. Let me tell you, this shocked us. Listen to Jacob Chansley talk and listen to his prayer inside the well of the U.S. Senate that he was ushered into by the police officers. And tell me if this sounds like a violent domestic extremist terrorist.
Yeah. So there's really one exchange from your interview that just stood out to me. You asked Chansley if he understood that his actions on January 6th were an attack on this country, and he went on to defend himself. I want to play a clip from that.
Well, I sang a song, and that's a part of shamanism. It's about creating positive vibrations in a sacred chamber. I also stop people from stealing and vandalizing that sacred space, the Senate. Okay, I actually stopped somebody from stealing muffins out of the break room. I also said a prayer in that sacred chamber because it was my intention to bring divinity and to bring God back into the Senate.
He wanted to bring divinity back to the Senate. Chansley also claimed that the riot was actually mischaracterized in your interview, and you pressed him, noting that people were injured and people died. How did you justify that?
Yeah, I mean, he kept going back to this line of,
who died? I mean, again, that's another great question. I mean, this is such drivel. It's such disgusting mutant propaganda, these people. They're laughing, they're giggling at a man who I think sincerely wants to bring divinity and God back into the chambers and the halls of Congress. And look at the reaction from the lady down. Look at the reaction from the lady down below. She's like,
He mischaracterized in your interview, and you pressed him, noting that people were injured and people died.
Who died? An unarmed American female veteran named Ashley Babbitt. She is the only person who died inside of the U.S. Capitol when she was murdered at point blank range.
Justify that.
Yeah, I mean, he kept going back to this line of, I was not violent. I walked through open doors. So I think my take sitting across from him, even in this video sense, was that he didn't fully grasp the gravity of some of this. He said he wasn't a part of the violent part, and we had a tit for tat. We just kept going back and forth on it.
But he wasn't. You can see him in the tape. You can see him in the actual video. He wasn't part of the violent part. Ladies, I mean, you can watch it. Does this look violent to you? Look at the number of police officers in this shot right here. I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 11, because one officer was in front of him. What? If he was violent, why didn't they place him under arrest? Why didn't they do something about it? He was right. And this guy's getting more time in prison than any BLM protester, than protesters who killed cops during the BLM Antifa riots. And that's just wrong. That's just wrong. We've said it many times. Punch a cop, you should go to jail. That's true for both sides. This is not a just Justice Department. Elon Musk torches House January 6th committee for misleading the public, withholding evidence, saying it's deeply wrong. And he's right. This is the tweet here. The January 6th committee lied about Brian Sicknick, lied about Barry Loudermilk, lied about Josh Hawley, lied about Ray Epps being a credible witness, lied about Chewbacca Man. Besides misleading the public, they withheld evidence for partisan political reasons and sent people to prison for far more serious crimes than they committed. This is Elon Musk, so based. This is crazy. The public was misled, Elon Musk says. Elon Musk saying they sent people to prison for more serious crimes than they committed. Do you believe that that's Jacob Chansley? Will Jacob Chansley get a chance to appeal this? One of our most trusted legal experts, Mike Davis, saying absolutely. He should get a chance to appeal, and they should be able to enter this evidence in. And, I mean, I think that DAs across the country are going to be asking why the FBI and why the Department of Justice withheld this kind of evidence in all of these charging situations. Thousands and thousands of charges. You've never seen anything like it. Never saw anything like it with BLM and Antifa. But this is why we do not live in a just country. We know we live in a country that is worth saving, however, and that is why we fight for America every single day. Let me know what you think about the QAnon Shaman in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. Wrongfully imprisoned? Political prisoner? We keep fighting for America. Here, my name is Benny Johnson. See ya.
Thank you for watching. Our channel is here to meme the libs until they cry and then to meme them crying. Their tears, they taste just like sweet, delicious ice cream. Salty, too. We ridicule the establishment and the libs because of you. Your support keeps us going. So if you like what you saw, please punch the subscribe button, click like, and ring the little bell so that you know when we're live. Don't you want to know when we're live? And make sure that you subscribe to our email list just in case the plug gets pulled, as tends to happen. If you want to see more of our videos, click here or here. My name is Benny Johnson. Stay free, base patriots.